everybody. So I wanted to make a video about something that happened to me when I was younger, and this is a pretty commonality with most people. When I was like, I think it was like when I was 25, I got a DUI. I was driving, it was in Denver, Colorado at the time. I was driving down those Colfax, kind of near, it was between Sheridan and Wadsworth Boulevard, and a car had pulled out in front of me to make like an illegal left turn, and I ran into him. I broadsided him, and that's kind of where like everything started with that. Upon going to the police station that night, now I never denied this, like as soon as I got in the car accident, I told the officer I was drinking and driving. I mean, it's just what it was. I was caught, and my car ended up being totaled. I think it was a 1997 Jeep Cherokee. I was in school at the time for wind energy. I dropped out because of it. I had a lot going on, and I just couldn't face some of the critics that we're going to school with. But yeah, it was a pretty intense wake up call for me. I ended up going to jail for 30 days, and that story is kind of nuts. But I want to just kind of talk about first like how I got to that point in my life. So I had a pretty bad issue with alcohol when I was younger. I used it as a coping mechanism for anxiety. I always had really bad anxiety, and it made me more like, I don't know, like personable, or like just it eased my tension when I was hanging out in social settings. So that's what I use it for. I used it all the time, and I think as most people do, they drink to no end, like have a limit when you're young, and when you get older, you realize, holy crap, like when you have like 2 or 3 beers, you're like, damn, I did that to my body when I was younger. But this might have to be a multi-part series about the whole experience. But so yeah, I was driving drunk. I was at a bar that night, and I think they should have stopped serving me. Now this is all in hindsight now, and it's not up to them. It was my own thing. I should have just realized that I was too drunk to drive. I was your classic person that didn't like to leave their car anywhere. Like, I don't want to leave my car at this bar and get it towed because it'll be like $100. Even though like the DUI ended up costing me more than 10 grand. I lost my car. I lost my license for 2 years. I had random UAs for over a year. I had alcohol therapy. And if you're ever in a situation where you're like, I should just drive drunk and wing it, don't, because it's way less money to get even to go get your car out of impound, like, my thing I always tell my everyone I know is like, this was before Uber was around, or Lyft. Like, these weren't a thing at the time. Like, you had taxis, but not that I'm like super old, but they had just not come out yet. And I think it was like a year or 2 later they came out, or maybe 3. And I was like, damn, if that service was around at the time, I don't think that would have happened to me. I think maybe I would have had the knowledge to get a Uber home and just leave my car there. But I was the idiot that was like, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm a little sick, so my voice is going out. But I was the guy who's like, I don't want to leave my car there. I was only like I was in Edgewater, if you know where that is in Colorado. It's like a little tiny town, like a town within a town. It's like down, I think it's maybe Sheridan Boulevard, and like close to Colfax. I forgot where it is exactly. It's been a while since I've been there, but a cute little town. I was at some bar drinking where they used to give you like these wooden chips. So you like buy a beer and then you get a free beer. And what I had done is I had saved up all these chips from drinking there, and I I was just like getting housed, you know. And at one point, I dropped a full glass of beer, it broke, and then at another point, it was just ridiculous. That night was ridiculous. I shouldn't have been driving. But like, what made it even worse was when I got arrested that night. I went to like an intake holding area. It was like a weird little obscure building, and the cop was telling me, you know, what more than likely I'd be charged with. I was going to jail that night to like sleep it off, and I could get bailed out, you know, whatever. I might have to sneeze here shortly, but so he took me into intake. We filled out all the stuff. I'm pretty sure I was crying quite a bit, just because I knew like it was a big deal. Like I'd fucked up pretty bad, and my life is going to change a little bit. And but what made it worse is that I had a previous DWAI. I know this gets bad. I had a previous DWAI that I ran from, and so talk about being like 100% reckless. That's where I was at that time in my life, and it's just what it was. And so when I got the DUI, the DWAI hit, he's like, you know, you got a current warrant out for your arrest out of Grant County, Colorado, which I'll tell you a little bit about that story too. It was kind of a shit story, but it would have only been a DWAI if I would have like dealt with it at the time in Grant County, but it ended up being like basically another DUI. So when I got the one DUI, I basically got two. And some of you are gonna judge me and be like, wow, you're terrible, but don't say that you've never ever drove drunk. We've all done it. Most people do it on the regular. Some people do it with their kids in the car. But it's just the likelihood that you'll get caught is very low most of the times. I just happened to be in a situation where someone made an illegal turn in front of me, and the funny part about that is they were also drunk. So we were like on a drunk collision course for life, and it just happened to be that we ran into each other essentially. Why is my airbag light on? I don't know why my airbag light's on, but so yeah, basically I ended up getting 2 DUIs that night. And the shitty part about it all was like I was going to school at the time. My brother was like relying on me to take him to school, and after that I didn't have a license anymore, so I couldn't drive, and I was like really depressed about the whole situation, and it kind of just all collapsed like all at once, and it was something I had to start dealing with, and I think it was much needed. I went to jail that night, and that part was like super scary because I didn't know really what was going on. I had never been to jail at that point, and you know, I'm obviously wicked drunk, and I think I might have broke my jaw or like dislocated my jaw that night because it was in a lot of pain, and I still have a problem. Like when I open my mouth now, it like clicks. You know, classic man shit. Never get anything fixed, you know. But so yeah, I went to jail that night. I was in holding for a while, and the crazy part, like this whole experience was just so, it's just something you don't ever like deal with as like normal people, you know, like you don't really know the ins and outs of after you get arrested. So like I got arrested. I didn't know what happened with my car or anything. I kind of just got put in the cop car, and I was like, okay, well, they're gonna deal with all this stuff. You know, initially when I got in the car wreck, I got out of my car to check on the other people and make sure they were okay. I think I might have tried to start my car just to see, but when I got out, the whole front end was like, it was gone. Like the impact was so hard that it caused ripples down the side of my Jeep in the sheet metal, and like the battery was all turned up into the engine. I mean, it was a pretty hard hit. And so another part of that too is I hit the airbag. So, you know, I had never hit an airbag before. And when I hit that airbag, I fucking hurt. Like, it like put out all this white dust. I had glasses on at the time and they were gone. I couldn't find them. So, you know, when the cops did show up, I was like disoriented, like I couldn't see anything, so it made it probably seem worse. I would love to see if there was any dash cam footage of that, and I don't know if they really did that at the time. This was before cops had to be more accountable. But so yeah, there I am, you know, sitting in a cop car. I don't know what happens with my car. I end up going to jail. I get to the jail. I'm sitting and holding, and there's a bunch of people coming in. This is late. This is like 2 in the morning, so there's all sorts of people in there. But one guy, he came in, and I'm sitting there, and he was the only other one that came in to that particular area I was in, and he was crying like real bad. And I was like, you know, me, I was like, what's up, man? Like, you all right? And he's like, I got charged with rape. The dude had been like drunk and apparently raped some chick. And so when I was like in that situation, I was like, holy shit, I guess it could be worse. Like, this guy didn't even remember like raping this girl, and he was just bawling his eyes out, not knowing what was going to happen. And I'm pretty sure his charges were going to be severe. And that's a little more about the disconnect in jail. I'll tell you about that. It's like you're kind of in there with people that have done like sexual crimes and DUIs and people that had violent assaults. This was Jefferson County, Colorado. It's like the big building with the dome on like 285 as you're going towards the mountains. That's the jail I went to, or courthouse. And then the jail like is in this underground corridor that you walk solo, which I thought was kind of strange. So yeah, I got booked. They take me to the holding area. I talked to all these people about what I got in trouble for, and they're like, oh man, you're good. Like, it'll be kind of a blimp in your life for a while, but you'll get through it. And then, you know, when you end up going to the jail part, they kind of just like, I don't know, so the cops expect you to know all this stuff, but like at that point I had never been like in jail. I had trouble before, but I've never gotten arrested, so I didn't know what was fucking going on. I had no clue, so I was all over the place, and I was still drunk. So you go through like intake, and they ask, hey, you know, are you suicidal? And I think at the time I might have said I was, because I was really down. Like, I was like, holy shit, like everything kind of hit me all at once that night. I was having a good night, and then it just all came collapsing down. And so yeah, I was fucking super sad. I was like, damn, dude, like what am I doing with my life? You know, that kind of style. And so, yeah, you go through all this shit, and then you end up in a jail cell, and you're sleeping it off. You know, I ended up calling, I called my mom to bail me out, and you have to get like a bail bondsman, and like this is all shit that was new to me. So you have to get like a bail bondsman, and I think my bail was $1,000, so someone had to go and get a bail bondsman and pay $100. Now this was a while back, so $1,000 was a little more than it is nowadays. Nowadays you'd be like, whatever, I'll just pay $1,000. So it's basically like you pay a bail bondsman $100 to promise that you'll end up going back to court, which I did. And then you end up going to court, and then that's kind of rectified by that situation by you showing up, and then the bail's shit is like done with, or whatever. That story's kind of nuts, but some of you like may think, oh, he's a bad person for getting a DUI, but like we all go through shit, man. And you know, if that's the worst I'll go through in my life, I'll be happy with that, because that was pretty traumatic for me. So yeah, I'm in holding. I go to jail that night. I think I'm in jail for 1 or 2 nights. And initially when you get in there, they make you strip, they make you like cough and squat, which I'll talk more about that later, because I had to do that basically every day, which was really embarrassing, you know. But I think that'll be the end of part 1 for now. And sorry for like how crazy the story is, but it's just how I remember it. So there'll be a part 2 update on this, and I'll kind of keep talking about it. So stay tuned.